Well, welcome, my friends. It's good to have you here for yet another great topic and some stuff to explore to help create more awareness in your life and in your relationships all around you. So, today's topic, I love it. It's a great one because it's about people getting on your nerves. Does this happen to you? I know this happens to me. I have many relationships, and my closest ones, right? The people that are closest to me seem to get on my nerves the most. And it's fascinating how that works, right? Because you can have a friend and they can say something similar to something that somebody else said that's close to you, and it doesn't bother you like it bothers you when they said it. So, those close relationships, when people get on our nerves, so I'm talking about your relationship maybe with your children, with your older kids or your younger kids, right? So, that kind of relationship where you've lived with them, usually we've lived with them for a while, our parents. So the relationship we might have with our parents, our siblings, people we lived with for a long time, um, and then or roommates that we had for quite a while, maybe a significant other, our husband, wife, spouse, that type of relationship. And so we're talking about those close relationships when people get on our nerves. What is going on there? Like, what is happening? Well, I want to explore that with you today. And I've kind of come or collected about three things or three kind of thoughts we might have when people are getting on our nerves, when this close person in our lives is getting on our nerves. And I want to go through those three thoughts that are kind of around those, and then kind of I have a couple of questions that you could pose to yourself when this thought arrives to kind of start to gain some self perspective in the situation. Because this is one thing I've found out is that when people are getting on our nerves, there's usually possibly something going on with us. We're not at a point where we can be okay with their baggage, right? What they're going through. There's also a point where, like I said, maybe a friend says something similar, but that doesn't get on your nerves because you're able just to hold space for them and you don't take it personally or you don't kind of take offense to it, right? As opposed to somebody that's with you a lot of the time, you might take offense to it more easier. You feel like they should know you by now. You think that they should know better than to talk to you this way, right? So we have these kind of ideas and assumptions when it comes to our close relationships of how they should behave and how they should be treating us. But yet, when it comes to a friend that we don't see as often, it's a different relationship, but yet it could be the same scenario. So that's kind of the thing about the questions and the thoughts that I have about three different scenarios when people can kind of get on our nerves and what might be coming up for us in that given situation. Because let me tell you something, I can get on my own nerves. Like, I don't need anybody else to help me get on my own nerves. There's things that I do, and I'm like, why am I doing that? Or I can't believe I just said that. So we have these thoughts about ourselves when it comes to our relationships. So obviously, these close people that we have in our lives, we're going to have thoughts about them when it comes to things. So we want to get to the root cause of stuff. We don't want to put a band-aid on it. We don't want to try to mask it with something else or kind of interpretate different things that are outside of our control, right? Like, well, oh, they're having a bad day or this is going on or that. That could be possible, absolutely. They could be having a bad day. They're saying things. So we say this kind of stuff to kind of soften it, but it's like getting under our skin and it's affecting us. So their bad day can't affect us unless we kind of make it mean something and allow it to. And what's really going on when that's coming up. So here are some of the things that I want to explore with you today. The first thing I want to talk about is about pain. So this could be emotional pain or even physical pain. When we see someone we love that we have an intimate relationship with, or we have a close knit relationship, right? So, like I said, parents, children, spouses, significant others, that type of thing. We see them experiencing pain and we want to fix it. We don't want them to feel that pain. And one thing to stop when that kind of comes up for us is to think, why is it that I believe I can help fix this pain for them? Why do I want to take this pain away from them? And what have I learned from the pain I've experienced? So we're all going to experience some kind of pain, whether it's physical or an emotional pain. This pain is going to be part of our life, right? It's the 50-50 of life. We know we're going to experience because we're going to have really good days, we're going to have really bad days. That's part of the deal. And because of that, it's stepping back and going, well, if someone's experienced the pain, I want to get in there and fix it. I want to make them feel better. I don't want them to have to experience this pain. I want to take away this pain from them. A good thing is to stop and check and go, why do I want to take this pain away from them? How could they learn from this pain? What might they need to process that would help them later on in life if they just experience this moment? And how can I just be present with that moment and not actually add to it? There was this meme that was going on around for a little while. I want to say it was a meme. Maybe it was like a story. It was really cute. It was about an older gentleman that was a neighbor of a family that lived next door, and the man was crying. And so this young little boy went over to the street to this man when he was crying, and he just sat there and came back. After a little while, he came back to his mom, and his mom says, "What were you doing over there with him?" Well, he was sad. So I just thought, I know sometimes when I'm sad, I just want someone to be there so that I can just be sad. So like this little boy, right, is saying that I don't need to go in and fix it. I can't make it better, but I can be present with them. And that might soften it for him. That might make him feel like he's loved, which is a great feeling. But I don't need to take it away from them and say, oh, don't be sad. It's okay, don't be sad. Be happy. Things will get better. Things are going to get better. It's like when we do that kind of stuff, we're putting maybe our own experiences with pain that we've had that we maybe didn't like or didn't process or haven't kind of fully gone through it. And we're putting that on somebody else and saying that, no, it'll get better. It's going to be fine. Instead of just letting them experience that. Be like, can I just sit here with you while you're experiencing this? Can I be present for you? You know, we can ask, what can I do to help? Is there something I can do to help? But when we say things like, it's going to be better, this too shall pass. Those are great things to say, like to ourselves and maybe to somebody else when they're ready for that. But at the beginning of pain, usually they're not ready for that. And that's not, then they start to feel lesser than. So they can at that point. So, the truth of the matter is this, is find what makes you feel good about being you and allowing them still to be them in that present moment of pain. So you could say those words, right? But decide how it is you want to show up that adds comfort to your soul and to theirs. Not comfort to yours that you're fixing their problem, but comfort to yours that you're present with them during their problem. Do you see the difference? I hope you do. I hope you can kind of stop and kind of maybe ponder that a little bit for yourself when it comes to when people are experiencing pain that are really close to us, how we can kind of allow that just to be and just let them experience that and be present with them and what that looks like for us. And a lot of times when someone's experiencing pain and we're having a hard time with it and we want to get in there and fix it, a really good question to ask ourselves is, how has pain helped me in my life? How was there a part that I was dealing with pain and I was glad that I went through it later, right? Because we're not glad that we went through it then, right? Because the feeling then didn't feel so great. But we can look at it and go, that made me grow so much, or that I learned so much from that pain. I couldn't have learned it any other way. So when we start to look at that, we're being more future focused and realizing that this is person, their experience is right now. They need to experience this, and I'm just going to be present with them. I'm not going to take it away because I don't want to take away that experience. I want them to experience it. And sometimes it can be really challenging, right? Because they want us to take it away. They're like, will you just take this away? Will you just do this for me? Just do that, right? Because they don't want to have to feel it. But sometimes being present with them can help them process that so that they can be present with that pain, whatever that is. And I'm not saying to like go in and not help in certain ways, right? Obviously, there's going to be all different kind of scenarios. But when it comes to pain, as much as we want to take it away, it is a pain that they are experiencing for whatever reason that they get to experience that. I don't know what it is, and I don't know if it's some bigger purpose or whatever, however you want to look at that. But to find out what it is that's kind of why it's pulling you to want to try to fix it, right? That's kind of something to look at. And how is it that I can just allow this because I can see how pain has helped me in my life? And I don't have to tell them that. I don't have to say, well, pain helped me. I can just be present with them. And I can have this thought so that it helps me be present with them. Okay, I hope that helps. All right, so pain is one when it comes to somebody close that kind of, I guess, gets on your nerves in a way that we want to fix it. We want to help it. We want to change it. We just don't like how it feels. We're like, oh, I feel like I should be doing something. That's the stuff I'm talking about. That's kind of getting on your nerves. Another thing when it comes to people that are close to us in our relationships is about wanting to make them feel happy, right? We want people to feel happy, want them to feel loved. And those are all good things. Like, I totally agree that, you want people to smile and feel good about life because life is to enjoy. I believe that we, even though we have the painful parts, there is enjoyment within it. And it's finding that balance and being able to do that dance when it comes to life. So there's going to be those happy moments. And so we want to make somebody happy, or maybe they're doing something in their life. Let's just say with kids, right? That they're said, well, they'll be happier when they have this. Like but this will make me happy, mom and dad. Like, I want this, right? So that could be that kind of type of relationship, or even a significant other. Like, well, this will make me happy if you do this. And here is my thoughts on those things, is that do it if you want to do it and you believe that you are okay with it. Like, you don't have any expectations. There's nothing that you're expecting from anybody. It's strictly coming from you being you. But before you do that, ask yourself, when we start to attach our happiness on things outside of us, we start to lose center of self. Like, these things can be like the blessing, like the cherry on top of the sundae, right? When people do things for us and give us things, those are the cherry, those are beautiful things, right, on the sundae. But it doesn't mean that the sundae by itself isn't already great. Like, you're already 100%. You're already great the way you are. You can be happy just by being you. Nothing out here is going to make us happy. So when somebody's wanting something and they believe that it's going to make them happy, my question that you could ask yourself is, how can I live my life to the pure of happiness regardless of whatever I have or don't have, right? Nothing that you're going to give me or not give me is going to take away my happiness or make me happier. But live a life where you are just happy because you're happy that you're you. You're happy that you get to wake up this morning. You're happy that you get to experience yet another day. Like, how can I live my life and believe that and not think that something out here has to be done in order to make me happy? And that's with those close relationships, right? We have these expectations sometimes and we don't even see it. I mean, I get it. Like, I do it too. I still do it. Like, even though I teach this stuff and I kind of coach people through this, I catch myself doing it too. Because our brain wants that kind of reward, wants that dopamine hit, wants to believe that something outside of us made it even better. And when we can start to kind of ground ourselves enough to be like, oh, nothing outside of here is going to make it better. But that was nice that happened. Like, ooh, I like that. That was nice. Thank you. Like, oh, I want to give this to you because I just do. I just want you to know that I just appreciate you. I just love you. I just am so grateful. Like, I'm just doing this because that's just who I am, not because there's any expectation or not because I think something needs to be met. So when we want to do something to make somebody happy, we want to really kind of look at that from a place of, is the intent there that I'm just giving it, and if they like it or don't like it, I'm okay with that. Like, it's not trying to make them happy. Is the intent there that I'm living my life as though no matter what people do or don't do, that I'm still happy with myself and my life? Am I living that kind of lifestyle? And am I allowing people, when they give me things, that I do take them with gratitude and a grateful heart, that I'm like, thank you so much for that. That's such a blessing to me, right? So living in that way to create that energy around you, so other people that are close to you feel it, and they know that they don't need to fill your cup and you don't need to fill theirs. But it's so nice when they do. And it's so nice when you choose to, right? When they choose that. But that's not going to make me happy. I'm going to see the beauty in it. And these are the things that I do in my life, right? So it's that kind of stuff. All right. So the third one that I want to explore with you is a little bit tricky, because the other one was more like, right, pain kind of stuff, the happiness. So those are kind of like polar opposites, right? So kind of looking at that as far as where you're at when people are kind of getting on your nerves, if they're wanting things from you or they're wanting you to fix things, and how you're kind of showing up in those situations. And this other one's a little bit different. It's kind of a combination of it. So it's like if somebody is in, if something in your life is, I guess not somebody, okay, so if in your life, if there are things that are going on, and so you're having some stress in your life, or you're doing this stuff, so you give something to somebody that's close to you to make your life easier, and so you're giving it to them to make your life easier. Why do you believe that you're doing that? So here's the thing, like, let's say so example, like I was a massage therapist for years, right? So, I mean, I still am. I'm still a licensed massage therapist, and I give my husband's massages every once in a while. I always offer them. And a lot of times I'll offer him massages, and sometimes he takes it and sometimes he doesn't. That's on him of how he feels about that. But what's interesting is that I only offer it, especially now. I mean, for the last probably 5 or so years, I only offer it if I'm truly willing to give it. Like, that's right. So again, like, I can't make him happy, or I'm offering it when I'm truly able to give it. Whether he takes it or not, that's okay. But I could be someone that's like, here's a gift certificate. Why don't you go get a massage from them? Because I don't want to have to do it. Somebody else can do it. Right? I don't know if that kind of fixes it in there, but that could be kind of that scenario. Another very common scenario would be like with children. Like, we give them phones to make our lives easier. Are we doing that? We give them access to computers, or we give them a car because we want our life to be easier. Is that what's happening? And why is it that we believe our lives need to be easier? I'm not saying that they need to be difficult all the time, or that they need to be easy all the time. What I'm saying is questioning your motive behind things so that you can be very clear about who you are. So when we start to give things because we want things in our lives to be easier, like by getting takeout all the time, like we get dinner all the time instead of preparing dinner. Why is that? And we're like, well, I brought dinner home, like I did what I needed to do. And whether or not they were expecting you to cook or not isn't part of the scenario, but it's like, I'm doing this to make my life easier. So my question on that is, because then that's when things start to get under our skin, and then we kind of use it as evidence, is that I'm doing this because, you should enjoy this, you should appreciate this. And yet in the back of your head, you're like, because I don't have the time to do this, or I'm not going to do this right now, or I don't have the money to do this. Whatever in the back of your head is kind of going on. And what I'm saying is slowing that down and finding out, where are my priorities? Where are my values in life? What's my principles that I'm really sticking to? And all this busyness that I'm having, is that really how I'm showing up? Am I giving things to people because I want my life to be easier? Because what happens a lot of times is when we start doing that, people do get under our skin, because we do kind of attach an expectation to that. Not like we're purposely trying to. I'm not saying we are. It's not like we totally go out there and that's what we're doing. But we have that kind of undertone within there, and we're not connecting the dots. We're not being fully present. And because we gave them this, like, here, sit down and watch TV, kids. I'm guilty, totally guilty of that, right? Sit down and watch TV, kids. I got other things to do. And I'm using that as something to make my life easier. And I believe that's kind of meeting a need instead of actually connecting in my relationships or even connecting with myself. Right? Because I'm so busy out there doing all these other things, I'm not even connecting with myself. And I'm just trying to put these things in place because I believe that's going to make my life easier. So here's my question. Why is that going to make your life easier? What is the end game of it? Just like the pain, right? Going through the pain can be, what's the benefit of the pain, right? How can I live my life so that I'm happy no matter what, right? I can find that happiness. And even when I'm sad, I choose to be sad and I'm okay with being sad, right? I allow it. It's not that I'm trying to fight it. Okay, so the pain, the sadness, and then we're putting things in and we're trying to make our lives easier. Why are we doing that? What's coming up for us in those situations? All right, my friends, again, I hope I gave you some things to think about, some things to ponder for yourself as you kind of start to create awareness around your relationships in your life and the way that it's kind of playing out for you, right? And if you are going through any kind of change in your life, whether it's a relationship, career, family type change that is coming up in your life, I'd love to be able to talk with you and get on a discovery call with you and see how I can help you through that process, because I know I can. This is what I do. I help people center themselves so when life happens, they have a hold on what they truly want to believe. They've decided ahead of time. And I love being able to help guide people through that process because I don't tell you what you need to be doing. By no means do I do that. What I do is I'm going to show you to help you see your thought processes around it, show you a lot of possibilities, and you get to pick and choose what resonates with you. That's what coaching is all about. So my friends, if you're ready to dive into it, I'd love to be able to get on a discovery call with you and see how we can work together. All right, enjoy this content. Make sure to share it with friends as well. So if those that are struggling any kind of those relationships, if people are getting on their nerves, this is a great video to share it with them. Take care, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.